What if one of the greatest civilizations in human history never fell? What if ancient Egypt, the land of pharaohs, pyramids, and gods, never declined, never fractured, never faded into memory? What if it survived the centuries, adapted, evolved, and rose to become the most powerful empire the world has ever known? In this timeline, that's exactly what happened. Ancient Egypt never collapsed, and the world that followed is one few could have ever imagined. The fall that never came. In our history, ancient Egypt endured for millennia, but eventually fractured under foreign invasions, internal conflict, and shifting power. By the time Rome arrived, Egypt was a shadow of its former glory. But in this alternate timeline, key events unfold differently. The late Bronze Age collapse weakens surrounding civilizations, but Egypt holds strong. The Sea Peoples are repelled entirely. The priesthood and monarchy unite instead of dividing. The internal power struggles that eroded its foundations never happened. And instead of decline, Egypt enters a new golden age, one that never ends. A timeless civilization ascends. By 1000 BCE, while neighboring empires falter, Egypt expands. Not through conquest alone, but through knowledge, diplomacy, and technology. The Nile becomes the center of a continental network linking Africa, the Mediterranean, and the Near East. They master irrigation, agriculture, and medicine. Their scribes develop an early form of printing, using ink and papyrus scrolls in massive libraries, rivaling anything the world would later see. Hieroglyphics evolve into a streamlined, widely used written language, which becomes the lingua franca across Africa and the Middle East. As centuries pass, Egypt absorbs knowledge from every culture it encounters and adds it to its own. The Egyptian Renaissance. In our timeline, the European Renaissance happened around 1400 CE. In this world, it starts in Egypt 600 years earlier. By 800 CE, Egypt leads the world in astronomy, engineering, mathematics, and architecture. Their temples become universities, their tombs, museums of history and invention. The Sphinx and the pyramids are not ruins, but centerpieces of a modern capital. Electricity is harnessed by 1200 CE, first for lighting tombs and temples, then for public infrastructure. Steam power follows. Trains run along the Nile. Airships fill the sky. Cairo becomes the world's first metropolis. Religion, science, and society. Egypt never undergoes a strict religious transformation like other civilizations. The worship of gods like Ra, Isis, and Osiris evolves into a symbolic system of philosophy rather than dogma. Spirituality blends with science. The priesthood becomes a class of scholar engineers, guardians of ancient wisdom and modern technology alike. Unlike in our timeline, religious wars never become a dominant force in shaping geopolitics. Tolerance is ingrained in Egyptian society, as gods from conquered or allied peoples are honored, not suppressed. Their concept of ma'at, balance, order, truth, becomes the foundation of a society that values harmony over hierarchy. A different world order. By the 1500s, Egypt has colonized, not through force, but through influence. Its language is spoken across Africa, parts of Europe, and the Indian Ocean region. Cities like Alexandria and Thebes serve as global cultural centers. Europe, in this timeline, never leads the world. Rome never becomes dominant. Christianity and Islam remain regional faiths. The Crusades never happen. The age of exploration begins in the Red Sea, not the Atlantic. When ships cross the oceans, they do so under sails marked with the Eye of Horus, not European coats of arms. The Americas are discovered earlier, but with a different mindset. Egyptian explorers established trade with native civilizations rather than conquer them. Cultural exchange replaces colonization. Gold is valued, but wisdom is treasured more. Technology, and the space age. The Egyptian calendar, already incredibly advanced in our reality, becomes the basis of modern timekeeping. Their obsession with the stars leads to early developments in telescopes and celestial mapping. By 1700, Egyptian scientists developed primitive rocketry, the Aten Una satellites, and by 1900 they reach space. The first human to set foot on the moon does so not under a Cold War flag, but in the name of Ra and Ma'at. Instead of a space race between nations, Egypt leads a unified planetary mission, sending explorers not as conquerors, but as caretakers of the universe, culture, art, and identity. In this timeline, art is not just decoration, it is communication. Murals, carvings, and hieroglyphics tell stories that are thousands of years old and still growing. Fashion is inspired by ancient style, linen robes, gold ornaments, eye makeup, not as costumes, but as cultural pride. Festivals honoring both ancient gods and modern discoveries are held yearly, blending past and future into one living tradition. Education is universal. From birth, every child is taught not only how to read and write, but how to understand history, science, ethics, and philosophy. And unlike in our world, no one forgets where they came from, because the past is not buried here, it's still alive. The 21st century under eternal Egypt. In 2025, Egypt is not a nation, it is the world. Its influence has grown to touch every continent. Its ideals of balance, wisdom, and progress are embedded into every aspect of daily life. There are no national borders, only provinces of a global civilization. Wars are rare, resources are shared. Climate is managed through ancient techniques, scaled by modern science. Artificial intelligence exists, but under strict ethical frameworks set by philosophers, priests. Technology serves humanity, not the other way around. Cities are green, vertical, and harmonious. Pollution is nearly extinct. The pyramids still stand, but now they are surrounded by solar fields, green parks, and floating transportation hubs. The old blends with the new in perfect symmetry. What was gained and what was lost? In this timeline, we gained peace, knowledge, unity, stability. A civilization that learned from its past instead of erasing it. A world that honored the earth, the stars, and the human soul. But we also lost something. Conflict, while terrible, can spark innovation. Rivalry can push limits. In a world with no Rome, no Renaissance rebellion, no ideological friction, some say creativity suffers. Progress is steady but careful, safe, predictable. Risk is discouraged. Individualism is rare. Great leaps are replaced by incremental steps. It is a golden world, but one without fire. The final thought. So what would you choose? A world of balance, harmony, and timeless wisdom, led by the immortal legacy of ancient Egypt? Or the chaotic, fractured, ambitious world we know, where progress rises from ashes and freedom is born from struggle? In this timeline, Egypt never fell, the gods never faded, and the sands of time still blow in their favor.